Blood and Guts was excellent. I think it was one of the best episodes of Dynamite this year.
Yep.
Um, I think for some of the hype that came into the women's match and a lot of criticism of the build for the last 2 weeks, it really delivered. I
Hmm.
think it's going to be a divisive decision to put it on first, but I think in some ways it helped the women. I would have liked to seen the women get the main event, but I think it helped the women, and I think it made sense with the pace of the show.
Hmm. That's kind of how I feel too. I feel like they got. I think they would have got cut or something. Something would have happened if they were in the main event. Like getting to be the first match and kind of flesh everything out, take your time on it. And I think that's why I like the match so much because like it was time. They got to build on spots. They got to build on a bunch of things, and nothing seemed rushed. Everybody was just kind of in their mode, in their moment. Well, I was talking about with Denise on the watch along is we were trying to figure out the MVP, and it feels like a lot of people think that it's Sky Blue, and rightfully so. But there were so many women in this match that were just on fire that came from the minute they got out there and were doing some crazy stuff. Sky Blue had a crazy showing in this. Megan Bain had a wonderful showing in this. She was trying to kill people in there. Jamie Hayter, she almost killed Jamie Hayter in a lot of this match. But yeah, I kind of agree with what you're saying about it being first to be fleshed out. Would have been cool to be the main event, but what's a main event?
Yeah, and I think at this point with the women in AEW, people are just so um I don't want to say desperate, but people
Mm-hmm.
are anticipating the women getting that spot, and they've been
Mm-hmm.
anticipating it for so long, and people just want to see the women get their due, and I totally understand that, and that's why, for me, I would have been happy if they got the main event, but I think with the way that the show was paced, it was fine as the opener.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the pacing of the show very dope. Like you said, one of the best shows of the year. It was treated like a pay per view show. It was that thing that seems to always happen with the AEW feel of like we were like the build to this hasn't been the greatest. We would have probably did some different things coming into the show, but they really delivered on the actual show. So people are like, it was all great, and it's like, all right, I hear you.
Yes, yes, yes. But yeah, I thought, like I said, the women's blood and guts match was very good. Opened with Sky Blue versus Willow. Um, One of the things I really like about the women's match is that um, the stuff ahead of it, like the advantage matches, is really made a difference in the match, and
Mm-hmm.
just some of the storylines, like Statlander and Willow, are still not on the same page. That ended up hurting their team. Um, on the flip side of that, the heels were all on the same page, other than
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes, and you could tell how that completely changed the match as well. The heels came in with a plan,
They
um,
did.
and that was the big difference here. But yeah, Sky came in. Was taking her lumps against Willow. Willow was throwing her around. She started bleeding really early in the match, and the longer the match went on, I mean, she was just drenched in blood at one point. Uh, Crazy visual, and she was having the
It was a
time of
horror
her
movie.
life. I was, she was having the time of her life. I was looking around like, that's a lot of blood, and she's just like, ah.
Just living in it, just bathing in it. Yeah, like I said from jump, she was like, I want to get hardcore. I want to do the craziest stuff. They started with some wild stuff like power bombs in the between the two rings. Like that's a painful spot without any plunder. And Willow, we've seen multiple times, really shines in these hardcore matches. Also, she locks into something different. And when it's hair up, square up time, like it got in one point, it's like again, you see the magic behind Willow, and the crowd still feels like they have for a long time with Willow.
Yeah, absolutely. But to my point, the heels had the advantage. As soon as
Mm-hmm.
the next person came in, it was Sisters of Sin beating down on Willow until Harley Cameron came out. Harley Cameron came out to even the odds, and it was kind of even then. But then Big Tex came out. Tekla hit the ring. Had a belt wrapped around her shoe. Came in and started whipping people down. Then the energy changed again in the match. Uh, Jamie Hayter was next, right? Jamie Hayter
Mm-hmm.
was next in the ring, and Jamie Hayter shifted the energy again. But when Megan Bain touched that ring, everything changed. And I
Mm-hmm.
think I love that about the way that Megan is booked in general, where you have to take her seriously. Every time she's in a match, she is like the biggest threat in the match. And so the
Mm-hmm.
second she entered the cage, she became the biggest threat to everybody. And I mean, she was obliterating everybody the second she touched the ring.
Yeah, she has a presence, Phil. There's a couple of things,
Yes.
and you can't teach that. Like, she has a bunch of you can't teach that things that she got into the ring and she stood out. And there's some superstar. I got you with that one. And there's some superstars in the ring with her, and she's standing out big. She just looks like a superstar. She looks like a killer, and then she starts killing people, and you're like, oh shit, this is wild. Like I said, she took Jamie Hayter to her limit in a bunch of spots. That chair shot with Jamie Hayter with the trash can lid over her was it's I screamed. I yelled. It's crazy. But yeah, this
Disgusting.
she's she's undeniable, Phil. And like they're gonna have to something's gonna have to happen. Like I was on the maybe her and Marina aren't gonna win the championships, but after this cage match, I'm like, they might win, man. I don't know. Like that was kind of a crazy showing from them in this match, but she really stood out amongst looking like the future of this business.
Yeah, she looked great. I chuckled when you said that because I immediately thought of Penelope Ford running around in a circle and then stopping in front of her and going, "My name is Penelope Ford, and I'm a certified G and a bona fide thug,
Bonafide
and you
thug.
can't teach that." And this here, this is Megan Bain, and she's this tall, and you can't
she,
teach that.
she's this tall.
Oh,
Yes, exactly. That's what it feels
that would
like,
have
and that's what it felt like.
no, but no, I totally agree that once Megan Bain came in there, she felt like a big star in there. I mean, her presence is just different from everybody else in there. And I agree. At one point you gotta strap her up, man. I don't know if I believe it's gonna be the tag titles. I do think it might be a little foreshadowing that she did use the TBS title as the weapon at the end. I could very much see her being the next TBS champion. I wouldn't be mad at all if she was the one to beat Mercedes. Um,
Phil, when
but
she
yeah, I thought
started whipping people with that TNT TBS belt, I was like, I've never seen anybody. I've seen people whip with the championship before, but not like she was doing it. She was using it like you're in trouble and your mom got the belt, and I'm like, this looks like it hurts.
yeah. Well, she was fantastic, like you said, when Statlander was coming in and she turned around and just hurled that chair at Jamie Hayter. Apparently, Jamie Hayter needed like is gonna need some like dental work out after that. That's the report. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's true, but it looked nasty. The way it hit her, I was like, oh my god, that looked very disrespectful. First of all, like here, take this and get out of here.
These are fighting words or fighting actions going on. Like I would have got up angry as hell, but you know, crossfire things happen in a match. You got to stay prepared. Always protect yourself. But yeah, she was going insane. But yeah, when Stat came in, you kind of see why she is the world champion. She carries herself like a world champion, and then she started working. She was bloody as hell too by the end of it.
Yeah. I thought it was a great touch to have her come in with the belt. And then she used the belt as a weapon and raised it. And then so that set up for Mercedes to come in and try to one up her and have all of her belts out there and then bring all of her belts in the ring to give every member of her team a belt to use. Like, haha, I have more belts than you. And then even when she tried to use like her finisher on the belt on Mercedes and she countered it and she gets up with the belt. I thought that was a great touch.
Yeah, Mercedes handing everyone her gazillion championships and everybody has a Mercedes belt to use. Great visual, funny to on her gimmick that she's going with right now as the belt collector and all that. I loved her moments in the match of kind of being like, no, I'm not about to be in here with this ruckus that y'all are causing. It's too crazy in here. There's too many weapons. Y'all are beating each other's asses, blood. Like, I don't want any parts of this.
Yeah, I love from the very onset of her coming out there. She did her whole entrance. She came down there with all of her belts on the table, and she was looking around like, "What are y'all doing in there? That's some poverty mentality. Y'all look real broken there. I'm not doing that."
But then she got in and Phil, that moment when she was tossing the other team out and she tossed out Jamie Hayter and Jamie Hayter hit every one of those steps and the guardrail on the way down. I was like, this is dangerous.
Yeah, but yeah, she was great once she did hit the ring. She is not new to this. Of course, she has been in multiple first ever stipulation matches, so it was a treat to see her here. I thought that she felt like the OG. She felt like the biggest star in the room when she came in here for a reason. And
Absolutely.
I saw some people that were like, "Oh, well, if that's all she was going to do." I mean, she does have a a women's championship match next week, and so yeah, I think they wanted to add her star power in here, but also it's like, let's be careful. We don't
Protect
want to
her.
injure people that we have, and we need for a big pay-per-view match in a week. Um, so I thought that came across well, but I also just think like her character stuff in the match fit with what she's been doing as a heel. As a heel, she's just been kind of like, yeah, y'all do that. Y'all come and wrestle every week.
Y'all do
Y'all work
that.
hard. Y'all got to do that. Yeah, like, again, y'all broke. I ain't got to do that. I'm rich.
Exactly. This is broke people behavior. I don't engage in broke people behavior. This is not me. I don't use weapons. I don't be doing this. Like we do one-on-one match. They're technical. We get down to this. It's about pinfalls and stuff. I just don't know the splendor. So her getting into great bit of them sneaking out of the cage through the pillars or whatever you call them that holds up the cage, like very innovative way to get out and opening the. How did you feel about that, Phil? Because a lot of people were kind of on the fence of, they thought for both matches that they were out of the cage a little too much.
I think for the women, Tekla and Julia Hart sneaking out of the cage the way that they did made sense. If you're going to do a first women's match, you should do something unique to the women. The men could not do that spot. They could not just find like this small area in the cage and climb out of it because most of the men are too big to do that. And
Right.
so I thought that this was something unique for the women, and I thought it was funny the way they did it. Julia coming out and trying to distract the ref, like, "Who? I'm trying to take your key," and then Tekla comes in and spears him from behind, and everything like it set up again that the women came in with a plan. Like, all right, once the match actually starts and the referee locks the cage, we're gonna put our plan into effect. We're gonna make sure that we get these certain women out of the cage, and so we have the numbers game to rely on later on in the match.
Yeah, the great thing that you're bringing up with the Triangle of Madness kind of having their own kind of game plan and that working towards the rest of the match. The heels always kind of had the advantage through most of the match, and that kind of led to where it got to. Tony comes out still a gigantic star. Like you're still like, oh, this is something still. Like she doesn't even need to be champion or involved in championship stories to still feel like a big star.
Yeah. Tony came out last, and Tony absolutely felt like the top star in the division.
Mm-hmm.
And I think keeping that last spot for her made all the sense in the world. But just like the way that they paced out all of the entrants and how all the entrants made sense, even Marina coming out during the crowd, still doing her same entrance and immediately jumping in there and attacking Statlander because, yeah, from her point of view, yeah, I'm in this tag team tournament, but who's the dog in there right now? The top dog in there is the world champion. I'm attacking you, and I'm getting you out of here. And so for her to immediately come in, attack her, throw her on the bed of nails, flip her to birds, and then start taking her socks and shoes off, I was dying laughing.
Like, this is a disrespectful entrance right there. Bringing out the bed of nails because she saw her dude, John Moxley, the guy that she's walked next to for over a year now, get taken out on one of those and being like, oh, I'm going to use one for myself and bring it to that kind of bring that violence to the women's match, taking out Stat immediately, like you said, but then getting in the ring and like being completely different than all the other women in the ring, and the way that
Yeah.
she's being presented and the way that she works. She's in there bare feet when there's glass and barbed wire and all this crazy shit. Her putting the glass on the bottom of her foot because she has the athletic tape and it can attach to that, and she could kick people off of that. Like, really a star-making performance, and all the things that she's been building as a person in the Death Riders and how she's been moving really paid off in this match, Phil.
Yeah, a complete lunatic. That was my thought every time she was doing
Absolutely.
things. I was like, this woman is a complete and utter lunatic. Keith is making a great point in our chat that Stat also, of course, got attacked by Marina because Statlander turned down the Death Riders and flipped them off. So that was the callback of her throwing her on the nails and flipping the bird back at her. But yeah, her entrance into the match was great. Like, she started doing the big judo throws. Mina coming into the match and still being Mina and being like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm here. I'm gonna dance. I have like my back covered in and and what do you call it? Barbed wire. This is cute. And then it got very violent, and it felt like
it was not cute.
more than she really came in for. But yeah, all of the stuff with her and Tony coming down with the purse and getting all of her pearls out of it. The callback, of course, to the Hollywood ending, and her doing the taped up hands and the bucket of glass and the champagne bottles. I thought that was great. Her interactions with Marina, where Marina was trying to like get a hold of her, and she's like, look, I got this glass, like, and she was like doing these like little short jabs. Hilarious.
Yeah, when she got to the glass bit and she's punching people and she's throwing it around and she's still doing her bits, but it fits in because there's violence attached to it. Like, you just can't, there's not a person like Tony. You just can't have a million of those, and they're very lucky that she's a part of this division. That spot with the mirror has been replaying in my brain all day, every day since it happened. Like, I know the science behind it, but just violence, just a crazy ass visual.
Yeah, I screamed because even when she was setting up the mirror to do the hip attack on Marina, I was like,
why is it face
know,
forward
you sure?
like that?
I don't know, you sure? And so she, of course, gets hoisted by her own baton, gets this mirror slammed into her face when she's coming out of the corner. It looks incredibly violent. It looks incredibly painful. One of the nastiest looking spots in the entire match. I was like, oh my God, is she sure? Is she okay? Yeah, but once the match actually got started and the ref locked the cage, just absolute madness throughout this match. Several spots that I was like, this looks, you guys, just be safe, guys. Okay, please just be safe. But man, can I say enough about what this did for the women's division? All 12 of these women, I think, came across better coming out of this match. The real brilliant thing about this Blood and Guts, and it really the entire show, is that they managed to advance so many stories at the same time.
Right.
The ending, advancing the stuff with Tony and Mina and their partnership, and getting people excited for the next round of the tag team tournament. I thought that was perfect. Building up all of this stuff with Tony, where Tony has been kind of this lone wolf since the Mariah May storyline until Mina showed up, and even losing her belt, and they had the stuff afterwards where Mina's like, well, we have each other, and that's supposed to build them up as a partnership. So of course, Mina getting hurt would be the thing that would make Tony go enough, because Tony has been saying all this time, you got to kill me. Like, I don't care what you do to me, but Mina, get off of her. And so when she is getting attacked, and Mina does this really inventive spot with the bat where she rolls it into her figure four, and it looks like she's going to use that to win. And then Triangle Madness and all the heels descend on her and start beating her down while they're holding Tony Storm back, and she can't do anything, and so she has to surrender. Really great stuff. Soon as they let her go, she dove on Marina and started beating her down. And then the other heels were like, "Nah, wait a minute, we still got the numbers." And I mean, talk about jump. I mean, she got
Dumped
jumped.
her
And I
out,
was like,
brother.
God.
I'm like, damn, nah, they jumping her into something. Yeah, great story bits at the end with them figuring out that the way to get to Tony is through Mina. Like I said, the way that Megan was whipping Mina at the end while she was in submission, getting the life choked out of her by Marina. I'm like, this is a violent way to end the match, a violent way to kind of continue these stories. You got the women's tag team stuff that we could continue. Stat and Mercedes told a lot of stories going into their world title match coming up here next week. Them ending with a big Samoan drop off of the cage onto the table and taking Mercedes out that way. That was amazing. Having them posing at the end, but Mercedes is nowhere to be found because she's dead. But then you could see her in the back trying to pose with the ladies. Just a great work all around. Like you said, I think every one of these women shined in this match. Everybody got a little opportunity to cook in some sort of kind of way. And I think it did a tremendous work for the future of this division.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the heels came across, like I said, they came in with a plan. They came in united. The baby faces, on the other hand, were not so much united front. But again, so many callbacks in this match from weeks ahead of this. That puppet segment that everybody hated, it paid off here because she again used the puppet to distract Mercedes. Mercedes was so annoyed at seeing that puppet again, she didn't realize that she had the brass knuckles on under there. I thought that was great. The stuff where Mercedes is throwing everybody out of the ring, and like you said, Statlander and Hayter just took every bit of the stairs coming out of there. And once they were separated, Statlander threw Mercedes through the table and completely took her and herself out of the match. But again, that just shows you where she's on this team, but she's on a different page with everybody else. Because if she had worked as a team with Willow and Harley, it wouldn't have gone that way. But because she was so in the midst of this Mercedes storyline, she took herself out while taking Mercedes out.
I think it's really good story going into their match too, because it's telling the thing that Stat is off of her game with the stories that, or what Mercedes is kind of putting her through. And this is kind of when Mercedes is going to win a championship, this is always the place that she's in. She's like got into the brain of her opponent. She got him off track. Like, even though Stat kind of won the battle that night, like this feels like Mercedes could win the war. But I think that's going to be the story of how Stat wins the match, because Mercedes is going to be going in with a little bit of different confidence because she thinks she got Stat, but Stat's going to get over on the end.
Yeah, which all of that stuff that played into this match as well, like the Statlander and Mercedes stuff of Statlander feeling like, no, you're still treating me like the person that you beat twice last year. I'm not the same wrestler. I'm going to prove it. I can beat you this time. And so, yeah, all her focus is on beating Mercedes. At the same time, Mercedes, work hard. You guys are working hard, all the rest of this stuff. I'm going to wait. I've stayed away from Tony all this time, but as soon as Tony was distracted in this match, I'm going to get my money maker off on her and act like, haha, I got you.
Yeah, that was a great story that was told too, because she's still a little bit afraid. Like, there's still that, like, the last time I interacted with Tony, it didn't go well. She kind of embarrassed me. So I've just been, anytime Tony's name or anything is in the area, Mercedes is out of there. The beginning when they were both in the cage and then they were in two separate rings, but you can see Mercedes is like waiting for a moment, but also trying to stay away. So when she did eventually capitalize on it, she was so happy about it. And like, I finally got over on her, but like, it's going to take a lot more to get over on her. There's still so much story that's going to be told with the two of them coming out of this.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I thought that the way that this was booked was absolutely great. All of the heels getting out of the cage after they got their hands raised and going up the ramp and still laughing and mocking Tony and Marina. And the whole time I was like, oh no, you guys don't realize Tony is crazy. Like you don't know what you guys have done.
They think that it's just they won. They think that they got over, but no, Tony's going to bring something super wild to this tag tournament. Setting up that Mina's going to show something that hasn't been seen before too after that beating. I think this is a really good story that's told from all of them. Just a tremendous match all around though. Like the blood, the guts, like it really lived up to the name.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like I said, all this stuff leading up to it, for all the stuff you can complain about the build, like there were weeks where Mina was there like, yeah, we're gonna be ready for this tag team tournament, but Tony is nowhere to be found. She's still like upset that she lost the belt, and she's still acting like, well, what do I have to fight for? Now you've given her the motivation. She has something to fight for because now you've made her mad because you hurt Mina.
Stories, man. Like people think this is just about plunder and all this, but they were telling so many different stories with this and everything going on. Megan Bain, tremendous. Marina, like Marina's transition from where she was a year ago and what she was doing to being one of the best parts of the Death Riders, and then doing something so unique and different in this match. It's like they need to keep her in the mix in the women's division.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely telling. Played into the men's blood and guts match later that Marina felt like the toughest person in this match, and she could have tapped out multiple times, and she ended up outlasting the others to win. And the guy that she's put all her faith in did not.
Great story.
Yeah, very, very good story. The Falls Count Everywhere match was really good as well. Star making performance for Hobbs. I mean, it sounds crazy to say that because Hobbs has been with this company for so long, but that promo that he cut before that they put online was fantastic. And then he came into this match and he was incredible.
Yeah, this was, like you said, a star-making performance, and we've seen multiple star-making performances from the big homie over the last couple of years. This was different, though. Like the way that you could feel the energy, like you said, in that promo. After I watching that promo, I was like, oh, no, he's moving different. Like, this is going to be something different. And then this match started, and it was like, oh, no, the energy that he's presenting in this match is different. He's fighting with the purpose. It feels like a sense of urgency from both wrestlers. Like just, I can't believe this performance. And the way that everybody's been talking about it, everybody also saw it too. It was just, I was wondering, Phil, when they announced that this match was going to be a part of Blood and Guts, how do you differentiate this from them two Blood and Guts matches? We're having a Falls Count Anywhere match, but we're going to have two big plunder matches. How do you do something different in this? And they totally figured it out, just like brawling a lot, having the big homie be, he always is, but extra aggressive in this match. It's like every little club he did, every little slam he did, it was extra effort in it. It felt like he was really trying to hurt Hangman Adam Page, like the vibes he was giving up in that promo.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Hangman came in bandaged from the table spot the week before, and Hobbs was beating down on this guy for most of the beginning of this match until Hangman got the upper hand. I mean, I know that the big table spot that ended the match is going to be like one of the craziest spots of the night for an insane episode of Dynamite, but that other bump off of the announce table also looked really painful. I was like, whoa. I mean, the way he landed, it did not look good. I was like, I hope he's okay.
Ouch. I'm still, I feel that pain. Like they're both on the announce table. Hobbs is trying to power bomb Hangman Adam Page, and Hangman Adam Page back body drops him. You think he's going to land on the table, but he overshoots the table and lands like pelvis first onto the ground, and he like bounces up. One of the most, we watched two disgusting Blood and Guts matches on this show. We saw some dude get set on fire, and it still was one of the most disgusting spots of the night of Hobbs bouncing off of that fucking ground. I can't believe him. I talked to him. He seems like he's okay. He seems like he's fine. So that's a good sign. Immediately, I was like, I got to text this guy and see if he's all right. The adrenaline was going crazy that night. He was like really running high. So he seems fine right now. hopefully everything continues to be good because that was definitely a sick ass bump. But yeah, when he started his World's Strongest Slams, which I'm glad that he's adopted, I think with blessings from the big man, Mark Henry, of course, and kind of using that as a way to structure the match and slamming Hangman on the apron and the table and the steps is like the way that he's moving right here. When I put him on my top 10 for the BW 500 this year, Phil, people were like, Hobbs, what has he done? Why would you do that? I'm like, no, the potential, what this guy could be, and what if they give him the ball, he could be the world champion. And I saw a lot of people after this match being like, nah, make Hobbs the champion. I thought of this famous quote that I can't say on this pod that Phil and I laugh at all the time, but that's how people were feeling this week.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, really great match. Hangman still feels like the main character in the company. He still feels like the
He
valiant
does.
flag bearer for this company that he should. The big table spot to end the match was insane. Hangman gets a running start with his boot in hand, knocks Hobbs off the balcony through a table. Like a big toolbox bounces up and slams on Hobbs. Also, the lights start flickering. There's like all this explosions and stuff behind him. I was like, all right, yo.
Very reminiscent of 1999 Royal Rumble between Mankind and The Rock. Very reminiscent of that into that match with the flying off into the explosions, boxes popping up, all kind of crazy shit. Just yeah, I think a good way to it's like a monster. Like this is like how do you conquer a monster, Phil? I think that was a perfect kind of visual of how you like what are you gonna do to take this guy down? That's how you take that guy down.
Yeah. But yeah, the men's War Games match. I think it took a little bit longer for the men's match to get going.
War Games.
Sorry, Blood and Guts. It is a War Games match, but of course, WWE owns the rights to that name, so you can't.
They're on my homegirl's butt this week, I tell you.
Yeah. So yeah, AEW can't call it a War Games match, but it is a War Games match, and I feel like their War Games match are more in spirit with what the WCW War Games matches were, and
Definitely.
Dusty's initial intent for the match. It's like, I mean, it's closer to the rules and everything, where you have to surrender or submit. Everything about it, like it feels like more of the spirit of those kind of matches. But yeah,
Blood and Guts. War Games match.
Blood and Guts. Let's put emphasis on that. I don't want people to yell at me as well, but these things can't be avoided. But yeah, the men's Blood and Guts match, it took a bit longer to get going.
Yeah,
I don't think it was paced as well as the women's match.
Agreed.
Like starting it with Darby, of course, because Darby has been like a big catalyst for all of this. Darby in there with Wheeler Yuta made a lot of sense. I cackled at Brian on commentary saying, "Oh, Yuta's in first, so we get to see this guy get tortured for an entire hour." I love it.
Now, every time Yuta was in a bad position, Brian, that's the most energy I've seen him as a commentator so far. He loved the moments. It was everything that he could imagine. But yeah, I'm 100% with you. I think the pacing was completely different than the women's match, and I thought the women's pacing was a little bit better. It gave everybody like time to shine, and this one was just this one felt a lot more like kind of the WWE presentation of War Games. It's like we're trying to get to the big spots, or we're waiting for the big moments of this match to really get into it. And the women's one seemed more about these women are trying to tear each other apart. This fucking violence. They want to rip somebody's head off. And the men's one was like, we want to kill this guy, but it's going to be different.
Yeah, I think that there were more story elements outside of the ring in the men's match that kind of slowed it down. Like, for example, the Mark Briscoe stuff kind of slowed everything down because you had to go to the back and show that Mark Briscoe was hurt, and then Roddy had to make the decision to come in his place. And then even when later in the match, when Mark does come out, you got to put emphasis on the fact that, okay, he's still going to take part in the match. And I think although all this stuff was good, it just felt like it slowed down the pace of the match.
Yeah, it just felt if they would have condensed it, maybe it would have felt a little bit better. But yeah, I think exactly what you're describing messed up the flow and how the guys were kind of moving, because you got to stop, wait, and do those type of things. And he wanted just constant action like the women's hit match had. But I mean, when it did get to it, Phil, it got to it.
Yeah, I think the ending stretch of the match was very good. Once
Mm-hmm.
we got all of the competitors in the ring and we got all of the set pieces in place, it got better and better as it went. But it took a while. It was slow setting everything up, but once it got going, it was very good. Um, Mox being Mox, one of the things I loved, and again, little things they did in this were just really, really great. Mox coming in there with a fork. Of course, fork has been his weapon of choice in all of this. It
Mm-hmm.
played into his match with Hangman earlier this year. So he comes in, he's stabbing Darby with the fork, and then he hands it to Garcia, and Garcia is having the time of his life. And it's like, yeah, you want some of this too? Like, get this guy. And so even that, and they're like doing the tag team moves together, and you can see like how much he's bought in. Like this is a guy that was dead set against Death Riders at this point. Actually, like he
Mm-hmm.
didn't want anything to do with Mox. And throughout this match, he worked a lot with Mox, and that played into the end because he was there at the end. Like, wait, he almost did the Star Lord in Avengers. Like, wait, did we lose? Like, that's not why I joined. I didn't join this to
Yeah.
lose. I joined to become a winner.
Yeah, exactly. Like the game that we've been talking, all the promos, the dream I was sold on being in the Death Riders is that we're winners, and anytime we're in a big match like this, we're gonna dominate, and it's gonna be nothing. But this wasn't how it ended up. Them adding in, them getting to the outside of the cage again with uh Mark Briscoe coming down and all that, and Darby getting outside there, and Gabe Kidd popping back out to out of nowhere from being dragged a bunch of weeks ago. The craziest visual of this match was the homie Pack and Darby Allen on the top of the entrance ramp. Gabe Kidd sets two tables on fire, and Pack press slams Darby off of the top of the ring entrance and onto the two tables. Darby Allen, Phil, catches on fire. We see him, like his back, his legs, he's on fire. And that's how they take him out of the match.
Yes. Um,
He's on fire.
the most Darby way to get taken out of the match. At first, I was like, "Wait, Gabe's here," and then Gabe is a complete nutcase as well. Gabe grabbed him immediately. He's beating him down. He's talking trash to him the whole time. Pack is in the midst, helping him, beating him down, and so they basically take the biggest op to Mox out of the match. And so you got to
Yep.
think they're sitting around laughing after they did this, like we won the match because spiritually Darby is the leader of this team.
Yep.
He's the one, like I said, that has been the catalyst of all of this. So you got to be thinking they looked at it like, okay, let's just get this guy out of the way. Once we get him out of here, we won. So
Mm-hmm.
I love that they're laughing it up. Pac gets him on the top of the entrance, throws him off, literally packs this guy out. Pun intended. Pack this guy way all the way up, throws him off and lands through the table. He's engulfed in flames when he lands. Like that picture that Brainbuster put up of him just being completely engulfed in the fire, it looks
Crazy.
insane. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and he's rolling out of there, rolling backstage, trying to put the fire out. Excellent visual. Again, excellent story piece here of the Death Riders came in there with a plan to infiltrate, try to take Mark Briscoe out first because he's the
Mm-hmm.
most maniac guy in here. We don't want that guy in there. Like this, we've seen what this guy has done and like dog collar matches, all these other hardcore matches. Let's get this guy out the way. Darby, like I said, it felt like the biggest piece that's holding this thing together. Let's get him out the way. Okay, it's just these conglomeration guys. I'm worried about these guys. We won. Which of course plays into their overconfidence in the ring
Mm-hmm.
afterwards. Um, Mox has been trying to avoid having to tap out. He outright punched the ref so he wouldn't tap out to Kyle O'Reilly before. That
Yep.
played into the finish of this match. Kyle O'Reilly came out of this looking like a big freaking star, covered in blood. I mean, when when he's in the choke and Mox is trying to get him to tap out with the chain and everything, and he throws up the bird, he's like, nah, fuck that. Excellent visual. And then perfect ending to me of Mox tapping out after all of this time, um, playing off of weeks of doing the Roddy and the Kyle matches to set this up, and like I
Mm-hmm.
said, avoiding tapping out to Kyle all this time. And then you see all the other things, like I said, where every other piece of their plan worked. Like
Yep.
even Marina in the other match, and you see how well Marina's plan came together in the women's match, and how when she was put to the test and had the chance to tap out, she didn't. Claudio came into this match like the fucking Terminator and was destroying people. People were hitting him with things, and he's just like not phased by any of it. He's at
Mm-hmm.
one point has Orange Cassidy on his back while he's doing an airplane spin. Like he just looks like this unstoppable android. And everybody else is doing their part, but Mox is the one that cost him the match because he tapped out. Really, really good stuff.
I didn't even know that they were telling this story these last couple of weeks. I was like, oh, Mox is he's in his hoop era. He's like, give me all the hoopers out there and we'll have these great matches on Collision. It'll just be like a fun time that I'm getting into. But they were setting up this match, Phil, of like us believing in Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly is, when you see him do this, you remember how great of a wrestler he is. And you remember that he could do everything. Like the way that the fans can get behind Kyle and he gets into that unbelievable, unstoppable, heart bigger than anybody mode. And it's like, this is Kyle's show. There's not a lot of people better than him. Like he had a star making performance. Another fucking gusher, look disgusting horror movie type visual at the end of this match with all that blood on him. But yeah, them using the conglomeration as kind of, because they started as one of the groups that were like, well, Kyle and Roddy were one of the like, we got to stop these guys. Like, we can't let them run roughshod over the company. We got to do something about the Death Riders, and them kind of being the catalyst of getting Mox to tap and getting them to kind of change the perception. I thought it was a really great story, like using the Mox punching the referee and I would never tap out, but then actually tapping out in a match like this that was so important to the company, so important to what the legacy of the Death Riders represents in the future. Really good story.
Yeah. I love that it's the conglomeration in the mix because they're basically the antithesis to the Death Riders.
They
They're
are.
everything that the Death Riders were against. When the Death Riders are like, "Oh, you guys are just having a good time. This is what you guys want to do. You guys are just backstage joking about and partying. Like we were supposed to change things. This is what you want to do. You want to do this sports entertainment style stuff. We're supposed to be a different company, and basically this group that is like the jokey joke group, they're the ones to beat you."
Because they're fucking killers. That's what they're trying to say. They're like, we can have a good time, Mox, but when it's time to brawl, it's time to brawl, and that's exactly what it was. I thought that we would maybe get the angle this on the show, Phil, with them jumping Mox out immediately, but I kind of
It's
understand
too
why they're
soon.
going to stretch it out.
It's too soon. We got World's End coming up,
Yeah.
and we've got other things coming up. I think they're gonna stretch it out, but all the implications of this was fantastic. Like I said, the way that Mox tapped out and just the look on his face when it's happening, and
Because he knew.
uh the way that Garcia slid to that other side of the ring and was like basically like, yo, what happened? What'd you do? And you could see the look on everybody else's face. They're getting more and more fed up with him. You could see it's happened. It's been like slowly happening. I'm telling you, Claudio has been showing signs for a while that
Audio.
he's been fed up. And you can see in this match more and more the rest of them are like, hey, what's up with you?
Yep. Claudio was on that, is on that. You'd have to kill me. Like, there's no way I would have tapped out in that spot. Like, you would have to choke me to death here. And they don't like that because he's been selling them this dream of we're the end all be all. Nobody could beat us. We're the top guys. And they were not the top guys in this match. I think, like we
and
said, like it started out kind of slow, but it ended with a lot of really good story.
and to the point before, they've been basically handling all of the biggest threats to him. I mean, the biggest threat to him, the guy that beat him in the I Quit match, was Darby. They took Darby out. They collectively took Darby out. Mox didn't.
He wasn't even there for the finish. He was dead somewhere.
It's part of the reason that this mutiny is going to happen. They're going to be looking around like, wait a minute, we've been doing all your dirty work all this time, and then you get to have all the glory, and we're following you because we think you mean this. And then every time it comes to you, you keep either tapping out or turning into a coward at the end. What is this?
It's been a bad 2 months for Mox.
Yeah, really, really great stuff. Great character work for Mox. I mean, this guy, what a phenomenal year for him. And at some point this year, I was very much like, this Death Rider stuff is not good. I don't know what we're doing, but man, Mox has been great for the last few months.
Yeah, post him losing the championship, he's locked into something different. It enhanced this match specifically, and it's enhanced a bunch of stories. Like, tremendous run. People are probably go back like, you guys are talking crazy. Like, there were some moments, some cope moments where I wasn't super into his reign, but he completely turned it around.
Yeah, completely turned it around, man. What a great show. Like I said, one of the best Dynamites this year. Yes. I would actually put it in the category for one of the best episodes of Dynamite of all time.
Ever. Yeah.